Hey diamond painting friends, Jessica here with Tiny Worlds of Wonder. Stopping in today to do a little WIP and Chat. Now, mark it on the calendar because I've never done two WIP and Chats this close together before. I just did one a couple of weeks back actually, but I've got a lot on my mind and I had a video planned for today. I wrapped up my Sleeps with Butterflies canvas over the weekend. And I have some thoughts on it, and I was going to do a framing video today, and then the frame arrived broken, and so I've just been foiled at every turn today. And then I've just been thinking about a lot of things. So we're just going to have sort of a stream of consciousness kind of ramble today. I'm going to be working on Zodiac by Distracted by Diamonds. This is original artwork by Alphonse Mucha, and I have an unboxing on the channel that I'll stick in the cards if you'd like to see more info about it. This canvas, I believe, is sold out currently, sadly. I hope that this is one Robin will get back. I'm not positive, but I hope she will. It is one of the most beautiful canvases that I've ever unboxed on my channel. So if you'd like to see it, check it out. I have not done a whole lot of work on this. We've just got a few drills set in the corner up here. This is one I've just been pulling out when I need a little something different to do. You know, if you're working on a long project, sometimes you just need a little something else for a while. So that's what I've been using this one for. This is a 78 by 80 centimeter round drill canvas. It's ginormous. So we're just gonna take little bite-sized pieces out of it. I'd like to give you kind of a warning right up front. We're going to be getting into some heavy stuff today. If that is not good for you today, I want you to go do something else. Go read something else, watch something funny, hang out with friends, take a walk, do something that's going to be good for you. You take care of you first, okay? Now, if you start watching some of the stuff we're talking about and you just feel uncomfortable, then I actually encourage you not to walk away, not to look away, because I think sometimes we can use uncomfortable feelings as an excuse not to hear information and perspectives. If this is a situation where you're uncomfortable, but it's not going to harm your mental health to hang around, then please hang around. I'd love to have you. Okay, I, as always, am going to stick as many links in the description below as I can. Of course, I can't link the canvas. I've already told you where you can find the unboxing. I will put a link to my diamond painting pen in the description below because I always get a lot of questions about my tools on my videos. So I'm just run a little strip of masking tape along my clear cover here because I'm actually going to be working on a little section up here at the top. So that's why you're seeing the masking tape. It's just going to help me cut my clear cover straight because clear covers like to get all wonky when you cut them. And then I grabbed my little dragon cover minder. I like this guy. So I think we've got all our tools ready to go. Now, I may seem a little low energy today, and that's because I am. My allergies are wicked bad lately. I don't know what's blooming. I've never had allergies this bad before. It's been raining and cold here the last few days, and that seems to have made it even worse. Like the rain has just made it even worse. So I woke up this morning feeling like I have a legit cold. But we're gonna get through it anyway because you guys are important to me and we're gonna have a good talk here today. My morning has gone thus so far, so I woke up feeling like crap, kinda like crap, yeah. I also woke up to massive rumbling behind my house because, you know, road construction. I've been telling you about that for a long time. It's still going on. They were doing the compacting this morning, so I woke up to my bed shaking. And then I kind of felt like crap. And then I got up and attempted to take a shower, But I have 2 teenage daughters, and so I was looking forward to luxuriating in the shower, getting some steam on the old sinuses today. And then there was no hot water, so I took a cold shower because my daughters are 17. This is the way it is right now. Then I was putting dinner in the slow cooker, and you know those, I call it my bangarang. I'm just stupid. It's like one of those Pampered Chef choppers. So I was cutting up some onions with my bangarang, and I dropped the whole chopper on the floor, and it was like onion confetti all over the walls, the cabinets, everything. And in the big picture of life, none of this stuff is very hard. It's not very important. But nothing can make me more irritated than when little unexpected bits of chaos happen in my life that are like things I feel like I can't control in the physical world because I'm super clumsy. I'll try to be as perky as possible today. I want to show you one thing I forgot about before we get started. My main project after Sleeps with Butterflies is going to be this really pretty canvas from Treasure Studios Art. I decided since this is going to be a Christmas gift that I better get started on it this summer. So I just wanted to show you what I have done so far on that. It's turning out really pretty. And this one is so much fun because do you see how muted the symbols are down here? And so then when I start putting these little baby round drills, they're really tiny, they're great, up at the top, it just sort of pops to life. That's so much fun. I'm really having a good time with it. The drills are gorgeous, and the mounting film is making it really hard to move drills around, but it feels like these things could go through nuclear war and not come off this canvas. Like that's the impression I get on this one. So that's going to be my main project next, I think. I just wanted to show you a little bit of that. And I will have a post review of the Sleeps with Butterflies up really soon. Like I said, the world was just working against me today in every possible way. So sometimes you just have to get the hint, you know, and go with the flow. You just have to go with the flow. I'm not good at that sometimes. I'm a planner. I like to plan. So what I'm going to do first, since I haven't kitted this up and I'm just working out of baggies, is to just sort of annoyingly pull the colors out that I need. There's going to be a lot of crackling, a lot of mayhem. So, you know, such is life. I'm going to try to pull out the ones that I know I need the most of. Okay, so we'll just pull some colors out. And I like to sort of start from dark to light, so I'm going to kind of do that here. Since I'm not kitting these up, I'm just been markering the symbol on the label here. Oh my gosh, you guys, the road construction is so real. I actually had to stop for a second. You can probably still hear it now. I think if I stop filming today to wait for the road construction, we're just going to be here all afternoon. So we're just going to have to deal with it. I apologize. There's nothing I can do about it. It just is what it is. We get to practice our acceptance of the world as it is today. Our acceptance of things we can't control. What would actually prompt Jessica, the hater of WIP and Chats, to do a WIP and Chat again this soon after doing the last one? And I think I'm just so sad. I want you to know, you, the human watching this video, how much I care about you, how much you matter to me, how I want to acknowledge, for some of you watching, how personal and painful the public murder of 2 black men on video has been to watch again and to experience for you again. It's been difficult for all of us, but I think what I've really seen is the level of trauma among the Black people that I love, how I've seen how difficult this is for them. It ought to be difficult for all of us to watch. It should be devastating for all of us to watch. It should be earth-shattering. But for so many of you watching, it's just another incident of horrible brutality to live through. And someone like you has been murdered in front of the world. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge that pain that I, as a white woman, cannot imagine living with. And if you're one of my white viewers watching this, please don't forget that your friends and neighbors and fellow travelers on this planet are going through something that is beyond an intellectual exercise on what racism is and what to do about it. Like, there are real humans seeing this over and over and over for centuries, for literal centuries. Well, people like me have been able to get out of bed in the morning and largely forget about it. We've had the option to do that. If you're one of my viewers who is experiencing deep pain and trauma from this, I want you to know how much I care about you and how much you matter to me. And how much I literally am standing next to you in this, not in a perfect way. I can't be perfect. A very wise person once said, when talking about racism and racial issues, that we were all outside when the fallout came down. And so there's no way for me to be perfect in this, no matter how hard I try. Because I've been awash in a culture of racism my whole life. I've been drowning in it. It's been in the air that I breathe. It's been in the water I drink since day one. It's been that way for all of us, at least all of us in the United States, and I suspect all of us who are living in countries that were essentially founded on imperialist ideals. It's been that way for all of us. So what I've been thinking about most lately, is how so many of you must be feeling right now. How traumatic this must be. The fact that it keeps happening over and over and so little is done about it. The fact that people make it into an intellectual exercise. The fact that people make it into a quote-unquote political issue. And if you're a person who believes that the murder of your fellow human beings is a political issue, then you really don't have a place here. I try to be a welcoming and open-minded channel, but that's not a place I'm willing to go. So that's a line in the sand for me. Something that's really been on my mind lately is the difference between a useful action and an unuseful one. Because a lot of us, people of goodwill everywhere, and this video it's not really for people who aren't of goodwill. It's just not. Like I said, if you think racism is a political issue, then this is not the channel for you. It just isn't. I encourage you to go find some information. It's a moral issue. And if you're not on board with that, fundamentally, then you and I can't have a productive discussion about it. But if you're a person of goodwill and humanity who understands that this is something that has to change, that it's not just, this isn't the way it has to be, then what's the difference between an action that matters and one that is sort of either lip service or a temporary change or just an action that doesn't make a difference? And that's a hard one. That's a really hard one. The solidarity is really important. When you stand next to someone in pain and tell them that you're with them and that they're not in it alone, that is a valuable action. When you donate money to organizations that are run by Black, Indigenous, and people of color, that is a valuable action. I think the struggle is in this social media world, like, how do we take actions that mean something and we don't just walk next to our neighbors and snap a selfie and put it up and feel like we've done something? I think that's the challenge. So where, in that sense, is the real action? That's where things get a little heavy, right? I think the first valuable action that we all have to take is acknowledging that racism is not something that other people deal with. It's something that we all deal with. Racism is not something that you are. It's something you do. And this is not my idea. There's an incredible book. It's one of my very favorite books. And it's called How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram Kendi. If you haven't read it, that's a very meaningful action. Because he has a discussion in the book of how we throw that term of racist around as sort of a name that we call people because we conceptualize racist as something you are all the time or something you aren't all the time. When in reality, we can go from speaking and projecting a racist thought in one moment to projecting and embodying an anti-racist thought in the next moment. So it's not an identity. It's not something that we are or aren't. And I think his conception and definition and explanation of that is deep and powerful in helping me, Jessica, sitting in this chair, to acknowledge that I have expressed, embodied, supported, left unchallenged racist thoughts and ideas. And instead of shying away from that, denying that, pretending that I'm quote unquote not a racist 100% of the time, changing that definition helps me to see and acknowledge my own shortcomings, the times when people in my life have said things that I should have interrupted and did not. Instead of just getting the free pass of, I'm not a racist, I get to own the things that I've done that I'm deservedly ashamed of. I deserve to be ashamed of them, and I have to acknowledge them so that I can change them. So I think that valuable action has been that action of self-recognition, self-diagnosis has been a valuable action. I think as a white person who lives in a place that is 94% white, I think acknowledging that has had damaging effects on my life has been important for me. I think that reading, sharing, learning the valuable perspectives of people of color in their own words, in their own experiences, has been an incredibly valuable action for me. I am not an expert on anything. I'm not an expert on anything. I'm certainly not an expert on this topic, but I will put in the description below some books and resources that I have found incredibly valuable if you're just looking to take a meaningful action. These may be things that you've already read and already considered and already experienced. But if you're just looking for meaningful action, I really do think that is one that matters. I think that interrupting and rooting out racist ideas whenever they are encountered, wherever they are encountered, and whatever the source might be, is a meaningful action. It can be hard when it's your dad or your grandpa or your mom or your brother or your sister say something racist. It's not as hard as having that idea wielded at you. It's uncomfortable, but it's not as uncomfortable as having that said about you or done to you. So I've had to get my definition of hard things a little bit more clear. And make no mistake, when you do that, there are often consequences in the sense that that person doesn't want to hear it. And they're not going to be happy you said it. You're going to get a reputation in your family. You're going to be labeled something, probably. People are going to be scared to talk to you, maybe. If you're really calling it out. But again, none of that is as bad as having a racist idea directed at you. Having a racist policy enacted on you. So I think that act of interrupting is a meaningful action. I think solidarity is a meaningful action. I think solidarity that doesn't center my experience as a white person is a meaningful action. I think showing up to support my friends and neighbors is a meaningful action. Standing next to them, hand in hand, arm in arm. And that means standing next to them when people are attempting to intimidate. I live in a place that is, like I said, 94% white, with one of the highest numbers of white supremacist hate groups in the United States. And so there are all kinds of attempts to intimidate. So I think a meaningful action is one where you actually put your own skin in the game. And that's not an easy thing to do, but it's not as hard as having racist thoughts, policies, and violence enacted on you, on your body, on your life. I think making a real attempt to unseat myself from the center of my own universe has been a valuable action. To see where and when whiteness is elevated over and above every other experience. I work in the arts, in an arts field, and I know for certain that I have elevated Eurocentric art and arts over and over in my life. And that continuous attempt to not destroy the value of, but to unseat Eurocentric experience as the default, the only experience of value, the only art of value. That is a meaningful action. Before voting for any candidate, supporting any candidate, finding out what their position is on the spectrum of eliminating racist thoughts, ideas, and policies from our systems of government and institutions is a valuable action. Some policies were designed specifically to subjugate other people, to take away the voices of other people. And those are obviously racist policies. There are also policies that have that effect, even if that was not their design. So educating myself on what those policies are and what lawmakers are doing to eliminate those policies, whether they're designed to have unequal effects for people or not. I think that's valuable action. We've never arrived, and I think that, for me, is the most difficult of all the valuable actions. The recognition that there is no such thing as perfection. The recognition that I'm never gonna get there, quote unquote, get there 100%, and that I can't just assume, again, that I'm not racist. The sad fact of it is that if you ask anybody, hey, are you racist? When's the last time someone said, yeah, I am. I'm racist. I have family members who are, by any definition of racist, incredibly racist. But they swear up and down that they're not racist. So I know this has been a long stream of very slow thoughts. A long stream of slow thoughts because this discussion, A, is very important to me. And B, because I want this to be self-reflective. I'm not trying to lecture anybody on what I think you should do. I think the hard reality for so many of us is thinking about what we do. What do I do every day? How have I walked out of my house and been able to forget about the experiences of other people? Because while I may not be privileged in a lot of ways, I may not have grown up with money, my life may not have been free of problems. I may have had to work hard for things, but the fact is my skin color has not made my life harder. And in many realms, it has made my life easier in ways that I can't even see. I had the privilege of being viewed as a child for the whole time I was a child. Just something a lot of people don't have. I didn't reach the age of 13, 14, 15, or 17 like Trayvon Martin and have people assume all of a sudden that I was a dangerous adult. That didn't happen to me. People in my family have had serious mental health crises which have required the police to respond. And they're still alive. That hard daily introspection about all the ways that my whiteness has protected me is where the work is. I think it must be where the meaningful action is, and I can't change anybody, but I can change me. And I think that's the most meaningful action I can take. Isn't it crazy how hard this is to talk about? For my white friends out there, isn't it incredible that even for some of us referring to ourselves as white feels so uncomfortable? I'm not saying it does for you, but I'm saying it does for me sometimes, and I'm acknowledging the ridiculousness of that. I'm acknowledging the ridiculousness of sitting here working on this canvas, another canvas featuring a white woman when I literally cannot find the face of a non-white woman depicted in public domain art that does not depict a subjugated or enslaved person. Sometimes I just have to let that wash over my consciousness for a moment. I've been looking, and I can't find it. And what does that say? We all know what it says. We all know what it says. So when we make a concerted effort to depict beautiful black, brown, gay, gender non-conforming, trans, Latino, Latina faces in our art, that's a valuable action. And it's one I'm working on. It's one I'm working on. And it can't be stolen, right? It can't be stolen art. When we're learning about these topics that are so difficult for us, it's so valuable, it's vital for us to expect to pay people for their emotional labor. It's a valuable action for me to go online, to purchase books and resources, to pay to go to seminars and talks, because I can't expect my neighbors of color to teach me things for free that I should have been looking for all along. That's a valuable action. And of course, I think for myself, it's a valuable action when I can to donate money to organizations that help to work on eliminating the systems that prop up inequity everywhere. If you're looking for a very valuable organization to give money to, there's one near me called the Montana Racial Equity Project. Now, I know most of you don't live in Montana, but I'm going to tell you why this organization is so important. As I mentioned, Montana is a very white state. The city I live in is 94% white. This organization is led by an incredible black woman, former homicide detective. And this organization works to educate people, particularly in areas like mine, in very monochromatic situations. They host seminars, they host lectures, incredibly valuable work. And if you'd like to take the meaningful action of donating your money to an organization, then I'll put a link in the description below to where you can do that. But that's a real action you can take if you're so moved. I know today's video has been slow. It's been sort of introspective and low energy. I acknowledge that. I acknowledge that I cannot have expressed myself perfectly I acknowledge that I made some mistakes in the execution of this video. I acknowledge that this was hard for me to talk about. For no real reason, other than I'm not used to talking about it. And what a privilege that is for me. I want to express my love for all of you. I want to express how much I care about you. I want to express how much you matter to me. Thanks for sticking around on this long rambling whip and chat with me, where we talked about a lot of stuff. It's not easy to talk about. But just because it isn't easy doesn't mean we shouldn't talk about it. Those are the things we should talk about the most. Thanks for putting up with all the road construction. Send me your thoughts and prayers. If watching your fellow citizens being murdered on video has inspired you to take real action, again, please look in the description for some of my favorite resources. I'll be here with you trying to do the same. And remember to check on the people you love. Check on the people you love. Sending big hugs to all of you. And I'll see you next time.